There is awful, tragic news from overseas late today. It's about an American journalist named James Foley who went missing in Syria 2 years ago now. He hasn't been seen or heard from since. Well, sadly, today we learned he was apparently beheaded by ISIS militants in a graphic video that's been posted on the web. Also in that video, an ISIS member speaking English who claims to be holding a second American journalist and threatens to kill him as well, unless, as they demand, the U.S. gets out of Iraq. The following report does not contain the video released tonight because it is far too gruesome. But we get our report on James Foley tonight from NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
The video released by a website connected to foreign fighters shows journalist James Foley before he was killed. An American war reporter freelancing for the Global Post news agency, Foley was captured in Syria on Thanksgiving 2012 and was believed held by ISIS. U.S. officials believe Foley was being held at the ISIS stronghold in Raqqa in northern Syria, along with other captured Western journalists and aid workers. Foley's family appealed for his release on the Today Show last year.
So we just ask his captors to recognize his innocence and his desire to help the Syrian people, and to please have mercy and let him be free.
Foley was intrepid. He had also been captured during the civil war in Libya and held for 44 days. And he talked about his experiences to the Boston Globe.
Kind of the presumption is you're a spy, and you have to prove to them that you're not a spy. So you have to be very careful and detailed of what you tell them.
Other journalists, French, Belgian, Spanish, and Danish, had also been held by ISIS in Syria, but were released, reportedly after their governments or intermediaries paid ransom, although that was denied. Friends of Foley's have been pleading with the State Department to do more to rescue him, but officials feared any covert operation would result in the death of all the hostages being held. And the U.S. has refused to pay ransom to terrorists. Now ISIS is threatening to kill that other American hostage if the U.S. does not get out of Iraq. Brian?
What a horrible, sad development from overseas tonight. Andrea Mitchell in our D.C. newsroom. Andrea, thanks.
This is James Wright Foley, an American citizen of your country.
Sky News has chosen not to broadcast this video. It is too graphic. But it shows James Foley in the final minutes of his life, on his knees, dressed in orange, with a man in black standing over him. The audio reveals that the militant has a British accent.
As a government, you have been at the forefront of the aggression towards the Islamic State. You have plotted against us and gone far out of your way to find reasons to interfere in our affairs. So any attempt by you, Obama, to deny the Muslims their rights of living in safety under the Islamic Caliphate will result in the bloodshed of your people.
James Foley is beheaded in the film. A White House spokesman said agents were working to authenticate the execution video, but said if it was genuine, it was appalled by the brutal murder of an innocent journalist.
This is a message to the brothers who stayed behind.
The British connection will worry number 10. It isn't the first time that a young British man has appeared in an Islamic State video.
We have brothers from Bangladesh, from Iraq, from Cambodia, Australia, UK. Nothing has gathered us except to make Allah Azza wa Jalla word the highest.
James Foley was kidnapped in Syria in November 2012, but it wasn't the first time. He was taken by pro-Gaddafi forces in Libya several years earlier. His parents, John and Diane Foley, launched an internet campaign to secure their son's release.
I appeal to the people who have Jim to let us know where he is and to help us secure his release and to give us some information in terms of his welfare, his health.
When he returned from Libya after 6 weeks, he reflected on the risks of reporting in war zones.
We hitched a ride up to the front lines, and we were told that Gaddafi forces were very close. We decided to get off the road because we felt it was safer due to normally shelling coming from the road. Unfortunately, Gaddafi forces came right over the hill, and within seconds we were under heavy fire.
On the charity Facebook page set up to find him, his mother wrote, "We have never been prouder of our son Jim. He gave his life trying to expose the world to the suffering of the Syrian people. We implore the kidnappers to spare the lives of the remaining hostages. Like Jim, they are innocents. They have no control over American government policy in Iraq, Syria, or anywhere in the world. We thank Jim for all the joy he gave us. He was an extraordinary son, brother, journalist and person. Please respect our privacy in the days ahead as we mourn and cherish Jim. The Islamic State, which has claimed responsibility for the beheading, says if US airstrikes on IS militants in Iraq don't stop, another journalist will be executed. As the video was made public, President Obama returned to Martha's Vineyard to resume his holiday after breaking off to deal with the situation in Iraq. This gruesome turn of events will weigh heavy on his mind.